Why, hello there, everybody, and welcome to One Shots. How are you two doing today?
Pretty good. I just want to apologise to everyone for being late. You can blame the British railway system.
We do, Nick. We do.
Yep.
Um,
Uh, Sorry, go ahead.
no, I didn't have anything to say. What's up with you,
Oh.
Sean?
It's oh god, it's been a crazy week. I went home last weekend to get some stuff for school, and I got sick while I was there and couldn't drive back until Tuesday, so I missed a bunch of school and spent the entire week catching up and just looking at Dark Souls 3 in my library and not being able to play it.
Oh,
It's been it's been a long week.
it's all right. You can hold off your shame for a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I've never really played more than half an hour of a Dark Souls game.
I can see that. It's the first I played Dark Souls when it first came out because I was like, yeah, I'll pick this up, and I didn't like it. I wasn't that impressed by it, and then I went back to it a few months later. And I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, I had a similar experience with it. I bought it on the PS3. Was it? I don't know if it was Dark Souls 2 or 1. I liked it, but I just didn't get into it.
Mhm.
But I kind of wish that I might try and get back into it now because everyone seems to love it so much.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't we talk about game?
Yes.
Where is this not? There we go. Aha, that's why. Fantastic. So you guys are starting in Shirebrook. Hopefully you
okay.
guys remember from the start of Hardcore Heroes. For those
could
of
I
you
forget?
in chat who haven't seen Hardcore Heroes yet, what are you doing? But more importantly, this is the starting town for that and the starting town for our party now. It is I don't want to call it a quiet town. It's an interesting town on the coast. The sheriff is a man named Tyrus Bellows, a foreigner from across the seas. It is run by a baroness who may play a role in today's session. There we go.
Kill the Baroness and fuck it up for Hardcore Heroes.
Mm,
We are
Lovely.
going to clear our names by the end of this, not by proving us innocent, but by just giving them a bigger threat to worry about.
that's fantastic. I kind of would like to see that actually. But last time a player attacked a baron's stronghold in a one-shots, it did not turn out so well.
Didn't go so well.
What happened?
I just got my character killed in like an hour and a half.
I didn't know this last week.
Killing like 14 guards though.
Yeah.
I only watched the start of the one shot. I didn't know that's where yours went.
Yeah, it went there like an hour later. So Beatrix Valmont is the baroness here in Shirebrook. But that's not where we are now. For now, you guys are hanging out at in a tavern. You're hanging out in the Half Pint. Why not?
All right.
Okay.
Half Pint is run by a small family of gnomes. It's one of the more popular inns and taverns in town. It does not have an attached inn. It's got 2 stories and a basement down below where they brew their ale. And it's not the nicest tavern, but it's a popular
You
one.
take that back, Neil.
It's not the Creekside is the nicest tavern in town.
Have we been in town for like a while?
Yeah,
I
probably.
feel like at some point I would have mentioned that it seems like the quality of their ale has diminished greatly recently.
Well, we haven't settled on time zone, so we don't know if this is before or after.
That's true.
That's
Can we
true.
describe our characters? Because I don't know anything about.
I was about to ask you guys to do that.
Perfect.
All
You go
right.
first, Nick. I'm working on the process right now.
All right. As we did last time, I'm going to go through a bit of backstory as well, because we're unlikely to have the time to sort of flesh that out organically. I did sort of talk about it last week anyway. So my name is Aurelius. I'm a 62-year-old cleric of Valfara, the goddess of vengeance. I've got short white hair, piercing dark green eyes, reminiscent somewhat of Tywin Lannister. I wear splint mail, carry a morning star and a shield, but walk with a slight hunched over gait as I have a very serious wound. That is reflected in only having 3 constitution, which isn't ideal. So Aurelius started his life out as a cleric of the war god Bellum in a mercenary company and was very successful. Fortunately, took a grievous wound, an arrow to the lung, which punctured his lung, and that's the reason why his constitution is still so low to this day. It took a very serious blow. Not being able to fight anymore in the mercenary company kind of left him bitter and twisted, and eventually forsook Belim and embraced the cold arms of Velfara, painting a red eye across the chest plate of his armor and seeking out vengeance in the land.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Sean, who is John?
John.
Well, first off, I just want to say, chat, you are so lucky. I was going to screw with people for 4 hours, play a gnome named Griggle Short Pants, and just be, I'm Griggle Short Pants for 4 hours. But my voice is a little bit too sore for that. So instead, I'm playing a guy named John, who grew up as a farmer. And he didn't necessarily get along with his parents very well, but they kept him sheltered and gave him food, so he did work on the land. And when he got old enough, he sort of tried his luck at leaving home and got, because he's kind of a really strong kid even for a farmer. He's got 17 strength. He kind of had an interest with swords when he was young, so he went out, got himself hired by a mercenary company. What was the name of yours again, Malky? I thought we agreed to be from the same one.
Yeah, I didn't give a name for the mercenary company. Neil?
Whatever you'd like.
What about the Black Cross?
Sure.
Done.
So he joins this company and just does whatever the hell mercenary companies do for a while. And sometime after Aurelius leaves, they go to sack a temple off of somebody. Somebody pays them a lot of money, says sack this temple. They're not scared of the gods. They don't give a fuck. They'll do whatever they want. They sack the temple, they burn it to the ground, and while he's still inside trying to loot some things, one of the support beams falls to the ground, hits him in the head. He passes out, wakes up not to the world, but to a vision. And he sees the light. Not the light of the gods of your heathen universe, but the light of the one true God. He knows that there is only one God, and he will not have false images born against him. He is going to travel this backwards savage culture and civilize this strange land known as Dungeons and Dragons.
What is the one god's name?
He has no name. He needs no name.
But he is a
He's
he?
simply God. He is he.
The flying spaghetti monster.
They just performed their first wedding in New Zealand.
Yeah, I saw that touched by his noodly appendage, John.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we are old friends from the mercenary company. I think I left before John saw the light. And given we have both turned our back on the Black Cross company, our paths have crossed once again, maybe, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And we are unsteady companions here, given that we kind of have conflicting views. But it's better to be in a group on the road.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous place for a 62-year-old man.
I feel like we were pretty good friends in the company too, and now we both want to help the other. It's more than just this person clearly doesn't understand what they're doing. I think we have a little bit of friendship going on behind all that.
Yeah, some mutual respect.
Excellent.
Forged in the bathe of war. Sorry.
Well, you guys are starting in Shirebrook in the Half Pint. There are a couple of gnomes walking around, busting dishes, and a whole slew of patrons hanging out, doing whatever. So take it away.
Well, I think I'm generally quite grumpy. I think I'm probably sat back in my chair in the corner of the room with my morning star across my lap and a pint of ale and just kind of glaring at people, looking for anyone who seems to be doing a bad deed or trying to take advantage of someone or just doing anything that will give me an excuse to sort of bowl over there and intervene and fuck them up.
Uh-huh. My guy's a little bit scary looking. He's got a big open, or it's not open, but it's a scar on his forehead, but it's a big blotch, sort of discolored scar, kind of it got injured and then infected maybe, and it never fully healed. He's got burn marks on the side of his face from where he kind of passed out in the temple and somehow didn't burn to death. But he learned how to read and write afterwards. I actually had to spend extra proficiency points for that since I'm a fighter by class. So he has learned how to read and write, and I think whenever he's just kind of sitting around, he is writing down. He's writing down the words of God. He's writing down the rules that he's going to bring to the people before long.
Oh my! Do you have any examples of any of these rules? Or are they still rather amorphous?
They're a bit amorphous right now. Give me a bit of time on that.
All right, all right. So the two of you are sitting here doing your thing when a hand taps Aurelius on the shoulder.
Okay, so I'll turn to glare at whoever it is.
It is the sheriff of town, Tyrus Bellows, in his green Naga scale armor, with his weird sword at his side. I should probably give you a description of the sword. Where do I have it? His sword has a platinum blade, which you've seen before. It's got this like whitish gray color. The pommel, the very end of the hilt, is a large pearl, and the hilt itself is wrapped in white dragon scale. The crossguard is made in a crescent shape, like a crescent moon shape, from ivory. And at night, when he holds it, it glows in the dark.
Okay, well, I think I've obviously seen this guy around town before. I know who he is.
Yes.
So as I look over my shoulder, I kind of like my gaze softens a little bit out of respect. And I say, Tyrus, what can I do for you?
Well, you two are the old mercenaries around here, right?
Former
Yes.
mercenaries, yes.
Yeah. Lady Valmont, Baroness Valmont, has a couple of mercenaries she needs to hire for a task. We've been a little understaffed here as of late. I don't know if you guys have heard. We've had some bullywug problems. There's a little bit of something that needs to be done, and I don't got the time to do it. We're looking if maybe you guys needed some work.
Well, I think my friend John here could always use more coin to fund his preaching.
Of course. Things to help my travels.
I thought
Things to help.
I thought you were the preacher.
Yeah, you'd think that, wouldn't you? Well, my preaching generally involves killing, so
Yes,
I suppose I can do my fair share of that.
his heathenous acts will catch up with him someday, but we needn't concern ourselves with that right now.
No, this is nothing to do with heathens. More has to do with goblins.
Well, goblins are foul creatures. The fiery eye of Velthara is due upon them at any moment.
I'm glad you invoked her name because, boy, let me tell you, we certainly need a bout of vengeance around here. Perhaps we can talk in a more private place, he says, glancing about.
Very well. Stand up.
Yeah, stands up with like his arms sort of outstretched a little bit and then walks upstairs.
Like the Last Supper Jesus type, outstretched.
No, a little bit. I'm thinking more like Oswald of Kareem, outstretched.
Cool. So he takes you out and down the road a little bit to his little sheriff station. It's not much more than a small building with a jail cell attached to it. There's pretty much just this one room and then the jail behind that. Where do you have that? No, we don't have it on handout. You rolling stuff?
I just send you my spells.
Ah, fantastic.
I have 19 willpower, so that's why I've got 4 level 1 spells.
You bastard.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
My only significant roll was my strength.
I think I got 17, but then I aged myself a lot to put my con down to 3 and my willpower up to 19.
Yeah, I could have had OP stats again, but I would have had to play a cleric again.
Yeah. So is that it? You've got high willpower. That's why you've got the clericking angle without having the actual.
He has 13 willpower. I re-rolled
Okay.
after that. I had like a guy with 16 and then 15 perception and like some other pretty good stats.
Nice. Oh,
All
okay.
right.
I see it
So
now.
he brings you into his little sheriff station.
Where do we come in? Where's
The
the
door's
door
on the
this?
bottom. It's that
Okay.
bottom
Oh, yeah.
line. I guess there's not a border on this. Anyway,
see it.
he brings you into his little station, sits you down at the round table with himself. The other officers are all out. He takes a step back to glance in the jail cells and comes back to where you guys are.
What game are we in for Roll20?
Hardcore Heroes.
Okay, I was about to ask. Or to say. I don't think I've been invited to this one.
No. So he sits you down and says, We've been having some goblin issues. Now we've been having bullywug issues too, but Countess Castilian up in Thornwood has given us some weird reports of mysterious goblin movements. A lot of goblins attacking people on the road, which is not too unusual in and of itself, but these are small numbers of goblins, not huge swarms like we're used to. Anyway, we had some other mercenaries go out posing as travelers, and they managed to capture one of these beasts. Now, they don't want any more part in this endeavor. They lost a couple of their friends during the capture. They botched it. But that's neither here nor there. Don't worry about them. What we have here is a need to know where these goblins come from, where they, what they're up to, who they're working for. Do either of you guys speak Goblin?
I do not.
I'm afraid not.
I can read and write. If you have any who can teach me the language, I'm sure I could learn rudimentary Goblin rather quickly.
Like, in a couple of days?
Not fluently, but I'm sure I could speak some of the words.
Alright. Well, the first thing you're going to need to do then is find yourself a Goblin translator. Anyway, we got this bloke captured. He's sitting in the dungeons right now. But we want to release him and let him go. That way, he can lead some hired help to the goblin's lair, where we can find out where they live, and then we can also find out what it is that's really been provoking them. Now, we asked him all sorts of questions, and some people wanted to try some enhanced interrogation techniques. But, my experience, at that point, people just tell you anything. So.
May I ask?
All of their sins? All of the dirty secrets that they've been hiding from the light?
I mean, they'll tell you anything they think you want to hear to make you stop. It's not that effective of a technique in the long run. It's just satisfying for some people.
Oh. You are entitled to your opinion. And just kind of takes a drink from his flask.
Tyrus, what is this man's crime?
Well, he and these other goblins have been raiding along the road. Killed.
He's a goblin.
Killed probably a dozen people, he and his buds. So we need to find out where they're from and why it is that they're working the way that they're working. It's been a while since we've seen small goblin raids like this on the road, and it bodes ill that we can't defend our people from them.
A goblin translator is not something easily come by. Surely you know this town better than us.
Well, we've been using Aldrich, the Conjurer, for that sort of thing, but he will not be available for this. Not to mention he hates traveling.
I don't suppose you have a bit of gold you could offer for this particular task to help us hire a translator. I kind of jiggle my nearly empty pouch, save for 3 gold coins.
Yeah. We can help cover those costs afterwards, of course. No point in paying people up front if they're just going to go die near some goblins and give the goblins some more money.
Fair enough.
Not that I don't have complete faith in your ability to complete this task, but, play the odds.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
So the two of you guys up for this? To track these suckers, find out where it is that they live, and who it is that hired them, or what? If they're not hired, what is it? Why are they doing this? If
Surely it is in a goblin's nature to cause havoc.
You're damn right. But they haven't been havocing in small groups in a long time. Are we just so weak they can think they can take us on like this, or is there a greater scheme going on here? Are they being controlled by someone? We've had a lot of issues in the past with bugbears and goblins working together, but I thought we cleared them out last time.
Seems to me you might be paranoid, Tyrus.
I love
Well, my paranoia is paying your bills, so...
I suppose. Well then, John?
This seems like a doable task. Goblins are greedy, evil creatures clinging to the tenets of capitalism, but they still have some semblance of order in their society, their backwards, rotten society. I'm sure we can communicate.
Maybe your Lord of Light can point us in the direction of a translator.
For that, I'm sure we'd... Kind of gives you a bit of a sour look at that laugh.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure we could look no further than a nearby tavern. Maybe perhaps a library?
Yes.
Tyrus nods slowly. Yeah, taverns, library, docks. All good
We'll try all
ideas.
three. Well, Tyrus, I'm sure you've got things to be doing.
I mean, there's no library here in Shirebrook, but, maybe another library. Anywho, you let us know when you guys are ready to take off, and we will free the captive.
Do you have chains?
Chains?
For the goblin.
We're to track him, not escort him.
Yeah, we're letting him go. And you guys can just follow him.
I see. Well, first things first, I suppose.
Yeah. You find that translator. You meet me back here when it's done.
Yes.
Of course.
Unless you hear church bells, in which case it's bullywugs, and you just... Well, you guys are tough fighters. Head on down to the mines if you hear church bells. But other than that, I'll meet you back here later.
Understood. And yeah, just kind of get up, walk out the door, doing my characteristic sort of arms outstretched at whenever he stands up. But yeah, I think we're going to start with the tavern to try and find...
Yep. Let's pick up where we left off. Back to the tavern.
And if we don't find one there, I'll probably ask... I want to go to like a somewhat nice tavern, because I feel like you're going to try and find someone who's doing more respectable work if you're looking for somebody as a translator.
Mm.
And then if we can't find one there, I'd ask the innkeep where he would suggest going.
So, do you want to head to the nicest tavern in town?
Okay, you said that the... Oh god, I already forgot the name. I was going to call it the Half Hand.
Half Pint.
Creekside.
Half Pint.
Oh.
You said that wasn't the nicest in town, and
No,
was it? Are you saying that's it's nice, but not the nicest?
It is common quality. So you have poor, common, and nice taverns, and the Half Pint is one of the common taverns in town.
Okay, I don't know if we necessarily need to go to like the nicest tavern, but I feel like a nice one would probably fit.
Yes. As we're walking there, I'm encumbered. I don't have enough strength to carry my armor, so I shout, "John, slow down, my old legs. Can't keep up with yours."
Oh god, I actually almost took the running proficiency, and I was half tempted to just literally run everywhere I went.
Like the guy from that Parks and Recreation.
Oh yeah.
So I catch up, out of breath.
Do you need me to carry something for you?
No, I don't need your help. Just
no,
slow down. Nobody
you
walks
will need
that
the help
fast.
of God, though, my friend.
I have all the gods I need. I have served many gods. And if your god's so powerful, where is your magic?
Parlor tricks sent down to bewitch the minds of the fools. I need no such sorcery.
Very well. Jesus. All right.
That's exactly why I didn't do the voice, because I'm already coughing just doing my normal voice. I don't need to be like, "Hey, you folks use Christian Mingle" for 4 hours and then just...
All right, so we head into the creekside.
Where do you guys go? Half Pint Creekside?
I think we should start with the creekside. If it's we're more likely to find, a learned man of high intelligence who may speak many languages there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we go in.
Okay.
I try and straighten up a little bit as I walk in.
John looks okay going into this kind of place, I guess. Like he has so he wears splint mail because it's 5 gold more and better than chainmail, so I went with that.
Yeah, so
Um,
5 gold
and then-
more?
yeah, it's 5 gold more for 1 extra AC.
yeah,
No.
there's no reason why splint mail is so good. It's like a broken armor.
Yeah,
I
I think
don't know why it's so powerful.
one of the expanded rulebooks offered like an optional rule for maintenance, like it's harder to maintain and easier to break. But by the books, it's just really good.
I think it should be like more encumbering in some way. Like maybe
it's the same weight too.
You can't fire a bow while using it or something. Like you don't have the same sort of range of movement as you would have in chainmail, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't say any of that, so.
I mean, if you don't want to use it, Nick or Neil, I can always just.
No. Definitely keep it. I was just. You're right. It is only 5 gold more, and I don't know how I didn't know that off the top of my head.
No, it's. I remember wondering that for a long time. Splint mail, I don't think it even existed, did it?
Yeah, it even says that in the book that like the existence of this armor is questioned or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Overall, his clothing is like a black cloak, like or a big like black coat that looks, and it's got like a big sort of like section that looks like it was kind of carved out and re-sewn on the back, so it kind of looks like he pillaged it from somewhere, and there's still like off. It's all black, but then it's a little bit of a brighter black on the back, like he couldn't find the same color to sew it back up with.
Okay, cool. So we make quite the pair because like I've got like sigils of Bellum over my armor, but I've just like painted it over like in so it's like really intricate armor, but then just like roughly painted over with this like red eye.
Nice.
Okay. This is a very nice place. Most of the people in here are nobles. The bartender is wearing a tux, even though it's like noon. In what most taverns would call tavern wenches, here are waitresses in, I wouldn't quite call it a ball gown, but these long gowns that run from shoulders to feet, and they're not poofy but fairly sleek. And people are just kind of sitting about enjoying their drinks. There's a little balcony in the back side that overlooks the river. And a bunch of patrons are seated out there having mimosas in the early afternoon. A few other patrons are hanging out inside.
I feel like Aurelius and John are walking up to the sort of barkeep at the same, sort of just kind of looking around, taking in the bar.
Well, I get in there and I'm like tired, right? And the first seat that I see, I kind of like collapse down to and I'm like, John, get me a drink, please. And I give you like a
very well
to buy me a drink.
It seems you could use some comfort before the end. And I go up and I get him a drink, and I ask the innkeep if he knows any where I could find a translator.
Sure. So as you go up to order your drink and ask these questions, he gives you a look and excuse me, sir. I think you might be looking for a different establishment. The Half Pint is down in the market square.
So you would suggest a lower quality inn for a translator?
We don't offer translation services here at the Creekside.
I understand. Do you think the Half Pint would have somebody who speaks Goblin?
Perhaps maybe the fish, or the last drop.
Very well.
I can assure you, none of us or any of our clients have goblin relations.
Very well. Thank you for your time, friend. I will still take a couple of drinks, though. My friend is tired. He could use the rest.
That's good.
Are you sure you wouldn't be more comfortable in another establishment?
This fucking guy, man.
It won't take much of your time. We simply want to down our drinks and be on our way.
He looks for another excuse, but just pours you guys a couple of drinks.
All right, I pay him.
Slides them across to you.
Yep.
And keeps watching you as the two of you go back to your seats.
Oh, I'm already sat down.
He's already sat down. I was on my own up there, and I kind of give him the drinks. I sit down and say, nowhere like the meeting place of the rich to find such a hive of sin and debauchery.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed how fancy this place was, and I've got like my morning star on my shield, just like on the table, like riveting all of the nice fabric that
I
they've
feel
got
like
there.
I feel like his weapon is a little bit like you can tell there's a sort of bump in his cloak, but you can't necessarily tell what it is. But he has a big like medium shield strapped over his back.
Nice. So I grab my my drink and just like start drinking it, and it starts like leaking down my neck and just like over the thing, and like slam it down. Ah. Well, any luck with the translator, the goblins?
As you slam your drink down, you notice people turn to look at you at the disruption, and you get a lot of nobles going, and then turning away, and you seem to be disrupting the local order.
I think I just glare at them.
But do continue, Sean.
He suggested that we go find another inn, one of lower quality. He seems to think his patrons are too good for knowledge. They will find themselves remiss in the end. God makes no such monetary prejudice after death. But I can't change how they live now. Perhaps we should go find an inn as he suggested. He suggested the Half Pint, or perhaps one of the inns down by the docks.
Very well. The beer was stale anyway.
Yes.
So I pick up my glass as we go to walk out, and as we leave the door, I'm just gonna like drop it on the floor, walk out.
Okay. It breaks on the ground, and you hear the scuttle of little feet to go clean it up quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Clean on my shit.
I don't. I think John kind of has a sour look to that. Like he doesn't say anything, but he's just kind of like a little. Maybe he mentions it. You have a long walk down to the docks. It's like, why would you do that? Those people take no damage from your actions. All you hurt are the servants who are forced to clean up after your dirty work.
You saw the way they looked at us.
So you would hurt their underlings. Their underlings want nothing to do with them. They're simply trying to get ahead in life.
I don't care for the servants. If it pisses off those fancy idiots, even just a bit, it's worth it. Plus, don't tell me it didn't feel good.
Oh, my friend, you will be some work yet.
Didn't they ever tell you, you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
I wonder if you can break the old dog.
I'd like to see you try. Look, enough flirting, let's carry on.
Of course.
All right. You find yourself down by the fish. It is the tavern closest to the docks, and it is known around these parts for its rowdiness, its drunken sailors, and its three-fingered bartender. Well, three fingers on one hand. His other hand is fine.
Couldn't be any more different from the last place.
Yeah. This place is poorly lit, most of the light coming in through a window. There's like a lantern in the kitchen, so most of the place is really dingy. It smells of stale ale and a little bit of piss probably from one of the walls, and farts. There's a bunch of people lounging about in the day. They all look like sailors who seemingly don't have anything to do today. Some of them are passed out drunk. Others are just kind of lying down in their seats, sipping on something. There's a few people at the bar making small conversation. You notice the sole serving girl here is already in tears, even though it's only 2. And she's talking with the bartender over something.
So I'd take a seat. Is there any seats?
Yes, would you like a booth or a bar seat?
I think we'd probably go for the booth. Well, I think we're both kind of more private characters.
Yeah, I shuffle into the booth and give John another silver and say, I'll expect 2 for this. Here.
Perhaps I could start a business. And I kind of take it, get up, and walk up to the bar.
All right. You make it to the bar. The bartender turns from the serving girl to you and goes, "What do you have?"
I just saw that comment in chat, Neil. And, followed by the sighs.
I know, some people.
2 drinks and a question, if you don't mind.
He
Do you,
pours 2 drinks and puts them in front of you and holds up 5 fingers.
I take note of the 5 fingers on his right hand and say, tell me, do you know anyone who happens to speak Goblin? Anyone who could be a translator? I know it's a bit of an odd request. I'm looking for somebody who can speak multiple languages.
Uh-huh. What you be needing a goblin speaker for, anyhow?
Speak with goblins.
Well, no shit, son, but why you need to speak with goblins?
We were given some work, and the work demands that we be able to find some information, and I believe our best method of finding this information would be to speak to the goblins directly.
This, dangerous sort of stuff?
Hopefully not. I mean, it involves going out of town. There's all the inherent dangers of the road. But I've braved them time and time again and come out on top because God is on my side.
He spits on the ground. The gods have never helped any of us around here.
Because your gods are pretenders.
Huh?
It's a conversation for another day, my friend. For now, I simply need a translator.
Jenny! Get over here! The tearful waitress comes back, dabbing at her face. And goes, "Jenny, you speak that goblin tongue, right?" She gives a bit of a nod. He thumbs over to her. "You can have her. 2 gold a day."
Allow me to talk to my companion. He is a little bit more wealthy than me at the moment. And I walk back to the booth and I say, he's offering us a translator for 2 gold a day. Can you help pay for that?
I don't. How long do we need it for?
Probably not too long. A day.
Just the one.
2 at
Just the
most.
1 day, right? We
2
talk
to
to
4
the
gold,
goblin.
I assume.
Talk to the goblin in the cell.
Yes.
Get some
Or
information.
we don't speak to him. We simply follow him back to his hideout.
Yeah. So we don't. Wait, out of character though, do we need the translators to come with us to the hideout to interrogate with the goblins, or are we just gonna?
Yeah, I think we're gonna parlay with them.
Okay.
Or we can always ask Tyrus when we go back to the office for the. He said to get the translator and come back to him.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll
I
pay
just-
for now. Maybe Tyrus can cover the cost.
Yes, he said he would pay once we finish the job.
So I hand you 2 gold.
Okay, and I
Don't forget about those drinks, boy.
Oh, I won't. And then I walk back up to the bar and I give him the 2 gold, and I kind of look over at Jenny and say, "Welcome to our service."
She
And then
kind of sniffling goes, "Wait, what? Huh?" And the bartender
worry.
says, "You're going with them. You're a shitty waitress anyway. Get out of here." And she kind of bows her head and comes over to your table, a little upset.
I get 3 drinks then.
Who are we paying this 2 gold to tomorrow? Like, do we have to pay it back to the bartender or what?
I mean, we'll see. But I get 3 drinks and take them all back to the table.
About time. So I take the 2 because I gave you money for 2.
Yeah.
I take 2, and then I
Oh,
look at them.
oh no, sorry.
Oh.
I keep one of them. I give you one, and I kind of slide her one since I mean she is a guest.
I guess I look at her and just grumble something to myself and start drinking my drink. So, you speak goblin, eh? What's a maid like you doing speaking that filthy tongue?
I was a goblin slave for a short part of my life when I was really young.
Fucking hell.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
No better
Yeah.
time to learn a language.
maybe it isn't so bad here after all, eh? And I felt bad for you having to hang out with this guy, but maybe it won't be so bad.
I'm his ward.
I was pointing at John, not.
Oh.
I say, don't mind my friend. He is bitter and a heretic. He doesn't understand the folly of his ways.
Well, at least my God exists, I say.
He kind of gives you a glare at that.
All right.
And he just kind of looks over at her and says, We need to go outside of town for a short while. We need to parley with some goblins. While we're out, you'll be under our protection.
Parlay?
Parley. We need to speak with a few goblins.
No offense there, mister, but I don't think goblins just speak to people.
If they don't, then we'll make them more talkative. And I kind of sort of brush my cloak back a little bit and reveal the big bastard sword that I've got strapped to my waist.
She gives it a bit of a nod.
I don't expect you to engage in any form of combat. You're welcome to hide until the fighting is done.
She nods again, more quickly and reassuredly.
Also, we'll make the decisions here about what we do. When there's goblins to speak to, you'll speak. But until then, why don't you keep your opinions to yourself?
She nods again.
Oh, Aurelius, you
Shake my head.
bitter old man. Nice. I kind of give her a bit of a reassuring look. I'm trying to get her on my side right now. I need all the converts I can.
All right.
All right, yeah.
That's that.
So, should we head back to Tyrus?
Yeah, I think so. It's still pretty early,
Okay.
so
Mhm.
yeah, back to the sheriff.
Sure. You make it
Is
back.
she-
Okay.
Wait, is she attractive, the girl? 62-year-old war-wounded man, probably. Yeah.
Average attractiveness.
So I guess I'm slow, right? So maybe we just get you see Aurelius, like, sort of, like, just slipping behind her as her and John walk side by side and just, like, sort of, like, eyeing her up a little bit, all, sort of, what's the word? Wretchedly. So, like, giggling to himself.
Can I see if I notice the giggling? Like, it's super subtle, but he's really just
Give me a perception check at -4.
Yeah, that's fine. So I only have just the normal, like, 21 and over is a
Yeah.
success.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm probably gonna fail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
You
You
would know
make
what
it.
I was giggling at anyway.
You make it back to the sheriff's station, and see right there is Tyrus, and near that circle of chairs that we had earlier. He kicks his feet down from the table as you guys come in and steps up, looks to the girl and kind of gives her a bit of a bow and says, "Excuse me, gentlemen, I have to deal with this young lady. Is there anything I can do for you?" And she takes a few steps back and goes, I'm with them." He turns to
She
you
speaks
guys.
goblin, Tyrus.
Her?
She used to
That's
be
your
a slave.
translator?
Yes. She was quite welcome to come along, or she was quite happy to come along. I believe she could use a break from the tavern.
Well. All right.
Your owner wants 3 gold a day. I assume that the
Yes,
Baroness can
Yeah.
cover this cost.
Yeah. John's mouth kind of twists in a smile at that, but he keeps his mouth shut when he hears 3 gold a day.
Yeah. It should be fine. I don't think
Well,
the
I'll cover the
Valmont
cost of
family
it.
will mind a few extra gold.
Well, then.
Tell us more of the details. We're to follow this goblin back to his living arrangements, and then
Well,
parlay-
you know, back when I was in your line of work, I didn't really like it much when people told me how to do my job. You know, you can tell someone what to do, or you can tell someone how to do it, but you can't tell them what to do and how to do it. You know?
Exactly. That seems perfectly fair. So, in your words, then, we simply need to bring you back information.
Yeah, we need to find out what the hell's going on. Why the hell are these goblins sacking the road? I mean, they don't attack in large groups. Biggest group we saw was 8, or biggest group that was reported was 8. You know, maybe some larger ones come by and killed everyone, but probably not. So what's going on with these goblins, and why are they targeting the road just between Thornwood and Shirebrook? Rainwood's been fine. Ain't no goblins sighted near Misty Rapids. It's just our little section of road here. Do they come from the Ashlands? Or are they coming over from the whatchamacallits, the Tether Wilds? Do they live in the the Black Pine Marsh, or what? Where the hell are these creatures from? What are they doing? What's pushing them to do this? And how do we stop them? Or if you can just, stop them yourselves, that's great too. But we'd like to know what's going on here.
Yes,
I consider this a scouting expedition, a reconnaissance mission of sorts.
I will do everything I can.
Good, good. And do see that she gets back here alive.
Of course, she is under my protection. I will do everything in my power to ensure that.
Good.
I'm just silent, waiting for Tyrus to dismiss us.
Yeah. He waits for a moment, looking expectantly, and goes, you guys got any questions?
You said we can do this our way, right?
It's your way or the highway.
Then no questions.
When you want us to release the goblin. We can do it today, we can do it tomorrow, tonight.
What time is it?
1 or 2.
I think that's enough time to start running around. So,
Look, let me speak with John here, Tyrus, for a moment.
He nods and takes the girl by the hand and leads her outside, chatting with her about, finding better employment, and this is no way for a soft lady to make her way in the world.
Look, John, I don't know how you see it, but I think we can both agree that goblins, well, they deserve what's coming to them. Now, the way I see it, we already got one goblin tied up. We can speak with him. Why don't we just give him a reason to talk?
I don't believe torture would be the way to go here. At least not yet. We can always save that. And he kind of, this really wicked grin kind of comes across his face, and he says, we can always save that for later. For now, I believe our best bet would be to release him, send him back to his people, and follow him while he goes there. We can always look into capturing more, if need be.
Goblins are cowardly things. What if we just take him out of his cell in the middle of the night, drag him into the woods, threaten him with his life, and see if he wants to answer any questions then? I may even have a few ways to persuade him.
While Tyrus did give us an open-ended way to complete this, I will not attack his charge without his permission. If you want to do so, we can speak to him about it.
Right. Gave us leave to do it our way, did he not?
He did. And if you can get him to agree to your plan, I have some ideas on how we could proceed to go about it.
Well, I hesitate to leave the warmth of the tavern for days on the road.
Oh,
but I suppose my bones are getting weak and I could do with an adventure. If you want to go out walking with that fine-looking young thing out there for a few days, I suppose I wouldn't object. I'll leave it up to you, John. Why don't you ask what do you call him? The Lord of Light? Why don't you ask him?
I don't believe he has any opinion in this matter. They're all godless heathens.
No, we all are, right? Everyone's wrong apart from you.
For now.
Yes. No, that makes sense. Why wouldn't that make sense? I can't think of any reasons why. This powerful god, no one else has heard of him. Nah.
You have all been deceived, my friend.
Well,
anyways, as long as we're here, let's call Tyrus back in. I will ask him for his opinion, and then we'll proceed to do it, one way or the other.
All right. Well, look, I'm just going to take a seat. I sit down at the table.
I understand. Aging bones and long walks don't necessarily
Don't look
go
so
well.
Fucking smug, it'll happen to you too.
But you see, I have the endurance proficiency, my friend. So, sorry, a little bit too meta.
Yeah. All right, yeah, so I'm waiting for John to go and talk to Tyrus.
Yeah, I think I kind of walk out to Tyrus and I say, my friend has an inkling that we could simply interrogate the goblin that you have already captured more fully. I figured I would come to ask your opinion on it. I know you gave us leave to do this as we saw fit, but this is your charge. And I wouldn't want to go over your head on this one.
He licks his lips. See, we only got the one goblin here. And if he dies in questioning, we're out of leads.
This is true.
So, we give you this task. And I don't recommend torture, but you do what you do and you find out what you can find out. If you come back empty-handed, we don't pay for anything, not even the translator.
Very
You
well.
come back with what we want, well, we'll work out some sort of reward.
All right. I kind of walk back in and I say, my friend, we should follow this goblin back to his hidey hole. He is one, and if he dies, we're out of leads. But if we find his hive, we find his source, we can take them, and then we have a larger supply to bring the word of God to.
Well, I suppose if he tries to anything funny while we're tracking him, we can just hold him down and try the other idea then.
Exactly.
All right, well, I'm going to need some proficiencies, some provisions for the road. I'll meet you back at the half pint. Should we set off tomorrow? I am
I believe we
quite
should set off within a couple
fatigued.
of hours.
Okay, well, meet me there in a couple of hours then.
Very well.
All right, and I hobble out to the
Okay.
half pint to get in a few more drinks before we head off.
I think I'd buy a couple days worth of just like field rations. Too.
Yeah, no, I do the same. How much does a week's worth of rations cost now? Is it
Oh,
5 gold?
I think it's 2 gold for field rations. Or I might be wrong on that.
let's take
I don't
a
have the
look.
books here anymore.
Rations. Dry rations. No. Standard rations. 3 gold for a week.
All right, cool. Yep.
Okay. And you can buy that in like increments. Like you could buy a day's worth, right?
Yeah. You can just.
Okay.
I
go
buy
ahead.
a week's worth.
I love you have the same book as me, Neil, and I love how that's an updated version of the book that had a bunch of tables corrected from like the incorrect versions, the older tables, but they corrected them incorrectly.
Which they did?
Yeah, like one table, I think it's light, like viewing distance and light got corrected
God.
incorrectly.
Oh, joy.
How much do rations weigh? 1?
I think I usually go a pound per day when I run things, but it's up to
Yeah,
you.
but there's a difference between standard, field, and
Oh yeah, Field
dry.
development.
I'm sorry, standard iron and dry rations. Dry rations are probably the lightest. Standard rations are probably like 2 pounds a day. You know, they're cheap because they're not as well
true.
prepared and preserved.
So a week's rations would be 14 pounds.
Yeah, well, you're carrying food for a week, man.
All right, well, I'm going to give that to John to carry for me at some point.
Okay, I say that I'll carry them if he allows me to eat some of them
Yeah, I'm sure. Fine.
for the work.
Despite the banter, I think Aurelius is quite fond of John.
Week.
Finds his like naivety and youth amusing.
There you go. Oh yeah.
Okay.
John is like 20 years old, so he's definitely like a really young kid.
Yeah.
Like he joined the mercenary company for a couple of years, got to know Aurelius, and then he left. They went to go sack a temple, and then he saw the light. Like, he's a very young kid, whereas Aurelius is much older.
Yeah. All right, so I guess 2 hours pass. I have another couple of drinks. I'll take off 2 silver for that.
Perfect.
And then I meet them outside the half pint.
Okay. And I think we're going to take our first break here. And we'll see you guys in a few minutes on the other side of our break. Bye-bye.
Okay.